By the end of this lesson, you will be able to identify the different domains of holistic development. Think of the children in your classroom. Every child is different. They have different talents, abilities, personalities, and behaviors. Some of these differences will be easy to observe and others not. Although the learners in your classroom are roughly the same age, some will be taller, some will find it easier to express their ideas, and they may differ in their views of what is right or wrong. These are all examples of diversity in the classroom. What do we mean by holistic development? Development links with the idea of change. We've all been on long journeys that seem to go on forever. As we travel, we look out for the road signs or landmarks that give us an idea of how far we have come and how far we still have to go. In times past, when long distances were measured in miles, there were markers called milestones along the road to tell travelers how far they had traveled. People often think about their lives as a journey, and they talk about passing certain milestones in life. Think about some of the important milestones in your own life. For your practice activity, start thinking about all the key events in your life. You will find that when you complete your own timeline, you probably will list some things such as lost my first tooth or learned to ride a bicycle, which has to do with how your body developed as you became an adult. Growth usually happens in steps or stages, largely according to genetic factors. How we develop in one area affects how we will develop in another. This figure helps to show the holistic, interconnected nature of the child's development. Perhaps you will also list some things that you learned, for example, learn to speak English or learn to swim. When you learned these things, your behavior changed because of your experiences or environment. Other items on your milestone list might be events or experiences like started school, voted for the first time, or got married. These milestones are socially determined and do not link to development, even though the law, and for good reason, says that you have to be a certain age before you can do these things. The process of maturation and learning go hand in hand in development. A good example would be playing soccer, which requires a certain level of physical maturation to be able to run and kick a ball, and the ability to learn the rules and practice the skills learned. This activity also shows how development is a lifelong process. It does not just happen in childhood. We say that human development is continual and cumulative. However, childhood is a time of very intense and rapid changes, so it is a special area of study called child development. You might also think about some positive and some negative aspects on your timeline. Humans have the capacity to change in response to favorable and unfavorable experiences. We use the word plastic to describe this characteristic of development. Developmental scientists study many different aspects of child development. These aspects can be grouped into 3 sets, termed domains. The first one, cognitive and language development. Secondly, psychosocial development. And physical and motor development. It is important to remember that all these aspects are connected with one another. Therefore, we say that development is holistic. The domain of physical development involves the growth of the body and the brain and the development of the senses and motor skills. The domain of cognitive development is about patterns of changes in mental abilities such as language, thinking, learning, attention, reasoning, and creativity. The domain of psychosocial development is concerned with the personality, emotions, social relationships, and moral development. We will unpack these domains in the following units of this module. Now, for your practice activity, you will need your timeline of milestones which you were instructed to think about earlier. Using different colors for each of the 3 domains, categorize the key events on your timeline into the 3 domains of child development. Indicate whether an event was physical, cognitive, or psychosocial. Find more details when you get to the practice activity section on Blackboard.